This is your Diamond Insight of averting an anthrax epidemic. A few weeks ago, it began as isolated cases of the deadly bacterial infection, scientifically classified as Bacillus anthracis, which lives in the soil, and it is why it mostly affects domestic and wild animals. However, the disease can be passed on to human beings when they come into contact with infected animals or animal products, and this is why the disease has ravaged most parts of southern province, and in particular Sinazongwe district, where 2 people have died so far. We are told by government records that as of last week, 245 herds of cattle were killed, and not to mention isolated cases of other domestic animals. The infection is treatable. However, we have noted information gaps on this pressing public health matter, that inasmuch as the Ministries of Health, Livestock and Fisheries and Tourism have stepped in, awareness messages are not reaching the rural farming communities that do not have the luxury of accessing basic internet and connectivity to television and radio services. We argue this point because we have been closely monitoring the situation, which has been bad, and even worse, anthrax has spread to as far as Lundazi district in eastern province, where it has killed some wild animals such as hippos. The infection is indeed worrisome and needs swift intervention to combat, but the often underfunding of the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries is concerning, because if it were ably staffed with extension officers and tools, the veterinary department would have brought this situation to control. We can only imagine the families that have lost cattle, and it is an unthinkable loss that may likely be the end of the source of livelihood, and even worse is knowing that a treatable disease of its kind led to the death of 2 people, leaving some with dire symptoms. Before it gets worse, can there be heightened surveillance and treatment in epicenters? We know for a fact that for vaccines and other essentials to effectively work, there is need for proper refrigeration systems, increased presence of extension officers, and testing of all products supplied to markets.